I'm giving somebody the blues today.
First off, for those of you who don't know who the JON is, this is a very talented player. Talented. I think in Tekken 7 they played Marduk. In Tekken 8, I'm not sure who they play. But they put out this long tweet and it basically says the problems that they have with Tekken 8, and also they give solutions on how they think it could be made better. So I'll read the problem and then I'll read the solution for that problem. There's 5 listed out. Heat bursts. Heat Burst with 2+3 is almost an invincible move like Rage Arts. Plus it gives +1 on block and +2 frames on hit. It takes damage if it hits, which it kills at the end of the round, so it can be used like a mini Rage Art. It can be interrupted with a grab or low attacks, which is almost impossible to do. So what's their solution to the Heat Burst? It says Heat Burst solution. Heat Burst activation with 3+2 should not kill in the end. It should just behave like a heat smash would on block, which it takes chip damage but does not kill. So basically what they're talking about is where you freeze your opponent and you can hit them. So many people use this to end the round, and I do agree that when someone is doing this, it's hard to make a comeback. It's hard to make a comeback when first off they probably have rage, they have a full bar of heat, but then the first thing you got to get past is their ability to freeze you, whatever you're doing, and hit you. It's so difficult to close the distance and make a comeback in that situation. But if it was like this where it did do damage, that would make things interesting. Number 2, chip damage special moves. There are special moves in Heat which takes a lot of chip damage and can be used 3 times in Heat. Players playing a character just for the sake of their pressure of chip damage, which is a silly reason to pick a character, hence this mechanic is broken. The solution is all these moves should take much less chip damage and also gain less chip health back for themselves. So that's pretty simple. Nerf the chip damage and nerf the health. Pretty simple. Number 3, the Heat Smash. The Heat Smash is so crazy, bro. Okay, Heat Smash cannot be interrupted except for Rage Art and gives a lot of plus on block with a mix up afterwards. A lot of characters goes into stances and have plus frames which initiate 50-50 situations. Basically, when you take damage in the game, there is still a lot of tools to make a comeback easily. See, that kind of contradicts what I was saying, where I was saying it's hard to make a comeback. I guess it just depends how much resources you have versus they have. If you don't have any resources, coming back is impossible. But if you do have resources, I mean, you probably can turn the tide with one mistake. Let's see what their solution is. Solution: Heat Smash should be a challenged move with a crusher, so it's not a must to block it and be pressured even after block. So players use it sensibly and not just throw it for pressure afterwards. I mean, that is a fair assessment. Like, here's what's so broken about it too. There's some things in Tekken 8 where, like, even if you block it, you are put in a horrible situation. I just don't think that should exist. Number 4, the most frustrating thing in Tekken is inconsistencies. Players make the most opportunities with a lot of hard work and they backfire because a lot of the time punishes misses and other characters get advantage and punish in return. I play other games like King of Fighters, which these things never happen, and Tekken should make adjustments to reward players for making the situation to punish. So if you guys seen on Twitter, there's a lot of clips that's been being posted lately where people do a get up kick and it like whiffs, it like pushes the opponent back and it doesn't hit them. I've been trying to collect some footage so you guys can see. I'll try to put a clip up on the screen and just imagine everyone posting this for the last week. And number 4, Bandai Namco should work on themselves as it's not a game move. Maybe axes should be adjusted better so the punish should be consistent. Yeah, I think that's something they'll work on regardless, you know. Okay, so 5 is High Crush. High safe crushes in a game which are 15-16 frames and safe and heat engagers. Okay, so a lot of people have an issue with this. High power crush heat engagers, they feel like they track, they are safe. There's a few characters who have them. Yoshimitsu doesn't. High crush moves should be punishable with at least 10 frames, so it's not very spammable. I understand why they probably would not want to make that move punishable, because if it's punishable, no one will use it. No one will use that high whatever, right? But I do think if they don't want to make it punishable, they should instead make it less effective. Remove tracking, maybe slow it down a little bit, and make it worse on block. Not punishable, because see, here's the thing, like at that level is which the JON is playing, if you make something -10, people are going to punish it every every single time, and the move would completely die. So I think they should just make it weaker in a lot of other instances and not just make it punishable. There's other ways you could balance that move without just making it punishable, is my point. At the bottom here, there's a little ending section. It says also throws are perfect now with a counter hit being 14 frame window, which are escapable now. Also not making throws obsolete in Tekken 7. So the counter hit throws, they was buffed from like, I think it was like 9 or 10 and now it's 14. Even I can break it. So yeah, it's definitely a lot better. But I want to say the throws are perfect because I still think they should remove tracking. Tracking throws should not happen at all. It says also it looks like throws might be steppable in the next patch, but players that are grapplers whose game is totally dependent on throws, and such characters like Marduk and King don't take plus frames and are big frame startup characters will be unplayable. Throw mechanism right now is perfect, otherwise grappling characters should have special moves, etc. This is where the character bias comes in. The JON is a Marduk player, right? And if Marduk does eventually come like the leaks say, the JON definitely wants to track you with those grabs. And I think it's no way. Tracking throws should never exist. Never, no way. I do like the majority of what this person said. The JON, great player, great ideas. Some of this stuff I think the developers are already kind of like a step ahead. But then when you talk about the heat bursts and the heat crushes, that kind of stuff goes a long way. And I think depending on how the developers change that stuff, can push the game in a very good position, or it could kind of leave it in this like kind of state that it's in, right?